Number 78 of 100 in the jazz violin series. Now, not everything in jazz is jazz standards. It's a high art form to be able to do that and historically significant. But a lot of the jazz I played, most of the jazz I played actually until later in my career, was not the standards. Even though I did a lot of standards on the bass, and I didn't apply them really seriously until I got into gypsy jazz. A lot of what I did before, like with the group Gamelan, was jazz fusion or jazz rock. And a lot of times the chord changes aren't as complicated. Now, a lot of snooty jazz purists might go, "Oh, that's kind of too simple, you know, for me. That's just dumb, you know." But I know great bebop players who have a hard time jamming on one chord and making it interesting. So the trick is you got to have an arc to your solo, just like you would have an arc to multiple choruses in a jazz standard. But the underneath might be just rhythmic things. When Gamelan played, we were pretty much, I like to affectionately call us a one-chord jam band. The bass player might go, I don't have a bass in my hand. Basically, boom, 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 thumb slapping or something. And the chordal players would make up chords, and the chords would sometimes be androgynous. They wouldn't necessarily be major or minor. They'd have seconds and ninths in them. You know, different things over that bass line. And so it was kind of up to the soloist to make up whatever they wanted. Now, if we had... chords aren't necessarily anything, they'd move around, they'd swell them in, and they'd kind of build the solo up. They'd start quieter and build it up. We called it climax music, right? And so it would start easy and build up to a crazy frenzy, and then we'd end it, and everybody would applaud, and we'd go off to the next guy, and they have their turn. Climax music, I call it. That is an art form too, and a lot of bebop players have a hard time bringing the compositional elements to make that interesting. It takes a real band to play together and really listen together and play dynamically. Dynamics is a big deal for jazz fusion. It's quiet and loud. A lot of players forget dynamics, and a lot of bands forget dynamics. You don't have to pay for a fancy light show if you just use dynamics. It's really, you get a lot of mileage with the audience. You get people goosebumps by going loud and quiet at the right times. You don't have to have a laser show. And so it's really important. So in the different situations, the smooth jazz or jazz fusion, you just bring in different compositional elements to build your solo. It might be the tone. You might click on a distortion pedal if you're an electric violinist. You might grit in harder. You scratch more on your bow. Something has to change. You might play more blues licks when you want to get more guttural and a little more foofy, majory stuff in the beginning, or something in a different tone. Sometimes I would... start with different tone. I do the harmonic feedback squeal technique. Yeah. And dig in later. I'll do another video on that. I've done multiple videos on the internet about that, but I'll mention it here as well.